Prices are coming down 18%. Oh yeah, baby. Stay tuned. I promise you, it'll be worth it. Big news. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. So glad you could join me here today. With things somewhat becoming normal again, whatever this new normal has become, I'm going to be shifting my upload schedule for the YouTube videos back to normal with like a little bit of a twist. So starting next week, I'm going back to releasing videos on Thursdays at 11 a.m. However, since I did promise to you that I'll be giving you a COVID-19 weekly update, I'll still be creating those mini weekly updates for you, but I'm going to be airing those videos on Tuesday at 11 a.m. So you can think of it like this. Tuesdays, we have COVID-19 market updates, and I'll be uploading those. And then on Thursdays, we'll resume regular programming and continue giving you kind of all the ins and outs of real estate investing and what's happening in the real estate market, okay? So all of this is going to be one extra video per week, but you know what? For you guys, I'll put it together for you, so no big deal, okay? So this week's update is that CMHC is predicting housing market is going to drop by 18%. Crazy big numbers coming from CMHC. But before I break down that big news, I'm going to give you the COVID-19 update, and here are the numbers, okay? So remember, the previous week, we had a fairly large spike in the weeks of inventory, and that's because of the extra day off from May 24. But, you know, that's kind of normalized again. So now we're going to look at the numbers this week, okay? We've got the most listings ever since the announcement of the pandemic, and literally just one listing shy of 1,000 listings. So that would be a pretty big stepping stone. But we also got increased amount of sales since, and the most amount since the pandemic was announced. So all in all, we're trending the right direction again, and we're just a little bit higher than the previous week. So my sentiment here is that there's a lot of sellers right now that are probably going to list before the pandemic or planning to list, and they're starting to list right now. And you can see that on the chart over here. The real question that I want answers to is whether there's going to be enough buyer demand for the amount of properties coming on the market in the next few weeks. This is something that I don't think anyone will have the answer to, because you can't really predict pandemic behavior of human beings. But what I will say is that, and this is what I'm seeing, a good property in a good area that's priced reasonably is still selling quite quickly, okay? So your property needs to be renovated, staged, all the bells and whistles for it to sell. We're in a time where, like in Toronto, where you actually have to be a good realtor to sell something. Whereas before, you could just put it on MLS, even with like iPhone photos, and it would still sell. But now, it's totally different, okay? So if you are selling, make sure you get a good realtor. Now, on the micro market side, condos are still basically, you know, same week over week. A good condo that's laid out well in a good building is selling. What is sitting on the market right now are properties that are tenanted in them, because it's hard to show the property and to ask the tenant to move out, even if there's a 60-day notice. It is still the entry price condos that are moving, you know, under $700,000. And the averages have been a bit higher the last 2 weeks because a few million-dollar condos have sold. But other than that, the days on market and the percentage sold has been roughly the same, which tells me same, no real shift, okay? Now, on the town side, they are outperforming every other micro market. They come out, they look good, they sell. That seems to be the thing. The new strategy is vacant properties, fully staged, bells and whistles, everything there, and even sometimes an offer date. Crazy, right? Offer date during pandemic, they're still selling. And that's why I see very little amount of them, very high percentage sold, and very days on the market. What I can tell you is that over the weekend, the amount of activity in these towns is so crazy that there are people lining up to see a house. And because of COVID-19, they have to go in single file. So yes, that segment of the market, moving very well. Semis, they're continuing along, not as well as the towns, but they're still moving quite quickly, selling in about 2 weeks and also over asking. But for both the semis and towns, the kind of like sweet spot for where it is right now is like anywhere between 1 and 1.4 mil. That's nicely been done. Now the detaches, you can see here, we saw the biggest surge in sales since the pandemic was announced. Again, also a good thing. The days on market is decreasing and the sold percentage is increasing. So again, all of this is saying that these are good things that are coming for the market and it's performing well. Obviously not where we expect it to be, but it's still doing good. For the detaches, the standard is kind of like the 3-bedroom, 2 or 3 washroom in the Midtown area for the somewhat entry-level detaches, and those are moving quite well. So if you enjoy updates like this, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the PPTO channel. The button will be right there, so you can help me spread the message out to our fellow Torontonians during the pandemic, okay? So the big news is last week, the head of CMHC, the Crown Corporation and Housing and Mortgages in Canada, came out with a massive report and said, hey guys, prices are going to come down 18%. It's pretty big news because the head honcho of CMHC came out and said prices are dropping 18%. Here's their chart that you can see over here and what their modeling looks like. They never specified how they modeled out the 18% drop, but the prediction is to say that prices are nowhere near to recover until 2022. Since it came from CMHC, it's striking a lot of fear into buyers and sellers right now. And because the fact that it is from CMHC, the head corporation, it's kind of affecting the buyer psychology and the seller psychology a lot. And that's why a lot of these like big pro real estate companies are coming out with their, counter argument or saying their predictions are wrong because they're trying to fight back. Now, these are like the Remaxes, the Royal LePages, and Treb. What I will say that even though I'm affiliated with Remax, you have to see what each other, like all the companies and their motives are because they're publishing information for a reason. Obviously the brokerages and Treb, they're trying to stop the fear mongering because 18% drop is pretty big. So they want the market to continue because it's for their benefit. My thing I can't seem to understand right now is what is CMHC's intent? Like, I don't know. The weird thing is that CMHC is doubling down right now and they're also putting advertising dollars to saying, hey guys, prices are coming down 18%, which I don't understand why, right? I just find that very strange. So what their intentions are, who knows, right? We'll find out later. But going back to what I was saying before, there are too many factors to kind of model out anything or any kind of prediction because monetary policies can change just like that, right? So what has me really kind of semi-worried is that the prediction is coming from CMHC and they can see all the mortgage numbers, all the mortgage creations and how all the books look from a nationwide, okay? And I also don't ever recall CMHC ever coming out with a prediction that showed a decline in prices. Of course, having said that, it's not to freak you out right now. Just keep in mind that their predictions are nationwide, okay? And other local markets will perform better than others. How much? We don't know. Only time will tell. But this may sound a bit self-serving, but I will say on an optimistic note, GTA has always outperformed most of the CMHC statistics in nationwide. So worst case scenario, if this is true, at least you'll know that the prices will come back to pre-COVID-19 prices in 2 years. So depending on whether you're a buyer or seller, you could really read into how you want, right? I am leaning more on the optimistic side. Worst case 2 years. If you are an investor, it's long-term hold. So you just have to ride out the worst case of it being 2 years because this was the most bearish prediction that I've seen. And if you can survive that, you'll be fine. You'll win at the end, right? So hopefully you guys found this new format helpful. Remember, stay safe. Wash your hands, and remember, your move, your future. Until next time, see ya. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one? Oh, you know what? This one's good too. Ooh, this one's really good. You know what? Just watch them both.